The mere thought of losing a child is an immense grief for any parent, which is why I so appreciate the prayer time of lament this morning for the families affected in Texas. It's an immense grief, but how much more so when you think about it, when that loss comes by your own hand. This is grief upon grief, and it disturbs us. And then not only that, but you think about the circumstances surrounding Isaac's birth. I mean, Hebrews 11 describes Isaac as Abraham's only begotten son. And that means here more like his unique son. He's his one and only son in terms of he's the child who would inherit the covenant and its blessings. It's not talking about quantity here, because as we know, if you read the story, Abraham also had another son whose name was Ishmael. The difference, however, is that Ishmael is not the child of promise. It was not spoken about Ishmael like it was spoken about Isaac when God told Abraham, as we read in this text, in Isaac your descendants shall be called, meaning your offspring, Abraham, is not going to be traced through Ishmael, it's going to be traced through Isaac. And that is where we find the great crisis of Abraham's faith. Because the command to sacrifice Isaac seems to directly contradict the very promise that God had given him. And as we talked about last week, when faith seen beyond human limitations and how often we revert to human sense and reason, Abraham in this moment could have reasoned like any other human in response to that command, right? If I obey God's command, then his promise can't be fulfilled. And if God is commanding me to do something that contradicts his own promise, then what does that become of his word? If God requires this of me, then his very promise will fail. You think about it, Abraham could have reasoned as a man and reasoned himself right into disobedience to this command.